You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Have you ever found yourself trapped in emotional pain? Maybe it's a past relationship, a personal failure, or a betrayal you can't seem to shake. The memories replay over and over in your mind, keeping you stuck in a cycle of regret, anger, or sadness. No matter how much time passes, the pain lingers, making it hard to move forward. But what if I told you that suffering isn't caused by what happens to us, but by how we interpret it? This is the core teaching of Stoicism, a philosophy that has helped countless individuals find peace by changing their perspective on pain, attachment, and control. In this video, you'll discover powerful Stoic principles that will help you free yourself from emotional pain and regain inner peace. We'll explore how to detach from emotional reactions so you don't let negativity control you. Reframe pain as a teacher and use it as fuel for growth. Focus only on what you can control, freeing yourself from unnecessary stress. Master your inner dialogue so your thoughts work for you, not against you. Set boundaries without guilt, protecting your peace of mind. Embrace Amor, Fati, the love of fate, accepting life as it is. Move forward with purpose, replacing suffering with clarity and strength. Each of these lessons is rooted in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, men who faced immense struggles yet remained unshaken. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear, practical roadmap to letting go of what no longer serves you and stepping into a more resilient, peaceful life. So stay with me until the end, because the last principle might just be the one that transforms the way you see pain forever. And if you're new here, welcome to Stoic Teachings Today. If you find this content valuable, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom every week. Now let's begin. Number 1. Detach from emotional reactions. One of the greatest obstacles to inner peace is our tendency to react emotionally to everything that happens around us. We take things personally. We let anger, frustration, or sadness dictate our actions, and in doing so, we hand over our power to external circumstances, things we cannot control. But the Stoics teach us a different way, to observe our emotions without being consumed by them. Epictetus put it best when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple but profound idea is the foundation of emotional resilience. It means that no event, no person, no words spoken against you have the power to disturb your mind unless you allow them to. The event itself is neutral. It's our interpretation that turns it into pain or suffering. Imagine you're driving to work and another driver cuts you off. Your immediate reaction might be frustration, even anger. Thoughts rush in. How dare they? People are so inconsiderate. But in that moment, you have a choice. You can either let this event dictate your emotions, raising your stress levels, distracting you from your day, or you can detach, acknowledging that the event is beyond your control. The other driver's behavior has nothing to do with you. Your peace of mind is in your hands. Detaching from emotional reactions doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means stepping back, observing them, and choosing your response. Marcus Aurelius advised, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This practice is especially powerful in relationships. How often do we let someone's words or actions upset us? A rude comment, a dismissive tone, a misunderstanding. These small moments can ruin an entire day, but only if we let them. The truth is, no one can make us feel anything without our consent. If we train our minds to pause before reacting, to ask ourselves, is this worth my peace? We gain control over our emotions instead of being controlled by them. A simple exercise to practice this is the pause and choose method. The next time something upsets you, pause for 3 seconds. Breathe. Ask yourself, is my reaction helpful? Will this matter a year from now? Then, choose your response wisely. Most of the time, you'll find that silence, patience, or simply walking away is far more powerful than an emotional outburst. By mastering emotional detachment, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You become calmer, more composed, and unshaken by trivial annoyances. You stop being a puppet controlled by external events, and instead become the master of your own mind. Letting go of emotional reactions isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about recognizing that you have the power to respond with wisdom, not impulse. And when you do, you'll find an unshakable sense of peace that no one can take away from you. Number 2, reframe pain as a teacher. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. This simple yet profound distinction lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics did not see pain as something to be feared or avoided, but as an essential part of growth. Instead of resisting pain, they embraced it as a teacher, a force that sharpens the mind, strengthens the soul, and reveals the path to wisdom. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This perspective transforms pain from an enemy into an ally. Every hardship, every disappointment, every loss, these are not punishments, but lessons. They are opportunities to develop resilience, patience, and inner strength. The key is not to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What can I learn from this?" Consider the story of a man who loses his job unexpectedly. His initial reaction is fear, frustration, and self-doubt. But after the shock subsides, he has a choice. He can either see this event as a devastating setback or as a turning point, an opportunity to re-evaluate his path, to develop new skills, to find a career that aligns more closely with his values. The situation itself does not determine the outcome. His response does. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled Rome during times of immense crisis, understood this well. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that every challenge contains within it the seeds of progress. The obstacle is not a roadblock, it is the road. Applying this mindset to everyday life requires a shift in perspective. When you face rejection, instead of feeling defeated, ask yourself, what strength is this developing in me? When a relationship ends, instead of drowning in sorrow, consider, what lessons can I take from this to grow into a better person? When you experience failure, instead of seeing it as an endpoint, view it as a stepping stone, an essential part of the journey toward mastery. This approach does not mean ignoring pain or pretending it does not exist. Rather, it means accepting it fully while refusing to let it define you. Pain is a signal, not a sentence. It tells you where your weaknesses are, where your attachments lie, and where growth is needed. And once you understand this, you no longer run from discomfort. You meet it with courage, knowing that every moment of struggle is shaping you into someone wiser and stronger. A powerful exercise to reframe pain is journaling with a Stoic perspective. Each evening, reflect on the day's challenges and write down, what was the most difficult moment today? How did I respond? What can I learn from this? By doing this consistently, you train your mind to see pain not as an enemy, but as an invaluable teacher. Over time, you become less reactive, more composed, and more at peace with the natural ups and downs of life. The truth is, life will bring pain, but what you do with it, that is up to you. If you choose to see it as a teacher, you transform hardship into wisdom, loss into growth, and struggle into strength. And in doing so, you step closer to the unshakable peace that the Stoics so deeply valued. Number 3. Focus only on what you can control. One of the greatest sources of frustration, anxiety, and stress in life comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. We waste energy worrying about other people's opinions, stressing over unpredictable outcomes, and feeling overwhelmed by situations that are completely out of our hands. The truth is, no matter how much effort we put in, there will always be things beyond our control. External circumstances, other people's actions, and random events that shape our lives. The Stoics, however, recognized a profound truth. Peace of mind comes from focusing only on what we can control. Epictetus put it simply: happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control, and some things are not. This mindset is not about passivity, it's about empowerment. It means directing all of our attention, effort, and energy into areas where we actually have influence, rather than exhausting ourselves fighting battles that we can never win. Take a moment to think about a recent situation that frustrated you. Maybe it was a disagreement with a friend, a critical comment from a co-worker, or a plan that fell apart despite your best efforts. Ask yourself, how much of this situation was truly in my control? More often than not, the answer is very little. What is in your control, however, is how you respond. You can choose to dwell on anger and frustration, or you can choose to shift your focus to something productive, your thoughts, your actions, your ability to adapt. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is a reminder that our true source of power is internal. Instead of worrying about whether someone likes us, we can focus on how we treat them. Instead of obsessing over whether we will succeed, we can concentrate on putting in the effort. Instead of fearing rejection, we can work on becoming the best version of ourselves. Let's apply this to a real-life scenario. Imagine you're preparing for an important presentation at work. You rehearse, refine your slides, and do everything in your power to be prepared. But when the day arrives, your audience seems distracted, and you don't get the response you hoped for. At this moment, you have two choices. You can dwell on their reaction, something you cannot control, or you can focus on what's within your power, your preparation, your delivery, and what you learned from the experience. The latter approach keeps you moving forward. The former keeps you stuck. A simple yet powerful Stoic practice to internalize this lesson is called the control exercise. Every time you face stress or frustration, pause and ask yourself, what part of this situation is in my control? What part is outside my control? Where should I focus my energy? By doing this consistently, you'll start training your mind to shift focus away from external worries and towards productive action. Over time, This mindset will free you from unnecessary anxiety, strengthen your emotional resilience, and allow you to navigate life with greater clarity and calm. At the end of the day, we all have a limited amount of time, energy, and attention. The more of it we spend worrying about things we cannot change, the less we have for what truly matters, our choices, our character, and our inner peace. So the next time you catch yourself stressing over the uncontrollable, remember this: real power lies in focusing on your actions, your mindset, and your ability to respond with wisdom. That's where true freedom begins. Number 4, set boundaries without guilt. Many of us struggle to set boundaries, fearing that doing so might make us seem selfish, unkind, or distant. We say yes when we want to say no. We overextend ourselves to meet the expectations of others, often at the cost of our own peace of mind. The problem is, without clear boundaries, we open ourselves up to exhaustion, resentment, and even emotional burnout. The Stoics understood the importance of protecting one's mental space and energy. They believed that setting boundaries was not about pushing people away, but rather about preserving the clarity and strength needed to live according to one's principles. Seneca put it simply: associate only with those who improve you. If you find yourself in the company of those who make you worse, turn away. This lesson is a reminder that the company we keep, the commitments we make, and the way we allow others to treat us all have a direct impact on our well-being. We must be intentional about who and what we allow into our lives. One of the biggest misconceptions about setting boundaries is the belief that it is an act of rejection. In reality, it is an act of self-respect. Imagine a river without banks, without clear boundaries. The water spills everywhere, losing its direction and power. But with defined edges, the river flows with purpose. Likewise, when we set firm but fair boundaries, we are not shutting people out. We are creating the necessary conditions for meaningful relationships and personal growth. Let's take a real-life example. Suppose a friend constantly unloads their problems on you, but never reciprocates when you need support. Instead of feeling guilty for stepping back, a Stoic approach would be to acknowledge that you are not responsible for carrying their emotional burdens. You can offer kindness without self-sacrifice. A simple statement like, "I value our friendship, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth to talk about this right now," is an act of strength, not selfishness. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If we constantly allow toxic influences, overwhelming demands, or draining interactions into our lives, our thoughts and emotions will reflect that negativity. Setting boundaries ensures that we guard our mental clarity, our emotional balance, and ultimately, our happiness. If you find it difficult to say no, start small. Try this exercise. Identify one area in your life where you feel overextended. Perhaps it's work obligations, social events, or family expectations. Ask yourself, what is within my control? Can I reduce my commitments, communicate my needs, or prioritize differently? Practice saying no without over-explaining. A simple, "I won't be able to make it," or "that doesn't work for me," is enough. You do not owe everyone an elaborate justification. By setting clear boundaries, you are not being unkind. You are being wise. You are preserving your energy for the things that truly matter. The next time you feel the pressure to say yes out of guilt, remind yourself, true peace comes from knowing your limits and honoring them. A Stoic does not live by the expectations of others, but by the guidance of their own reason and values. Number 5. Practice Amor Fati. love your fate. Life is unpredictable. We experience successes and failures, joy and suffering, love and loss. At times, we find ourselves asking, why is this happening to me? We resist reality, hoping things had turned out differently. But the truth is, our resistance to life's events is often the greatest source of our suffering. The Stoic principle of Amor Fati, which translates to love of fate, teaches us to not only accept what happens, but to embrace it fully. Rather than seeing obstacles as setbacks, Stoicism encourages us to perceive them as opportunities for growth. Instead of merely tolerating hardship, we learn to welcome it as an essential part of our journey. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Marcus Aurelius. This quote encapsulates the essence of Amor Fati. A Stoic does not wish for events to be different than they are. Instead, they transform everything, even pain and struggle, into fuel for their inner fire. This mindset frees us from resentment and empowers us to find meaning in every situation. Imagine two individuals facing the same setback. Let's say, being laid off from their job. One person is consumed by bitterness, blaming circumstances, questioning their worth, and allowing fear to take over. The other, however, sees the situation differently. They recognize that while they cannot change what has happened, they can control how they respond. They use the opportunity to develop new skills, pursue a different career, or even start their own venture. The only difference between these two people is mindset. One fights against reality and suffers. The other embraces reality and grows. This is the power of Amor Fati. Seneca reminds us, a good person dyes events with his own color and turns whatever happens to his own benefit. Pain, failure, and adversity are inevitable in life. But with Amor Fati, we can choose how we interpret these experiences. Instead of dwelling on, why did this happen to me? Ask yourself, how can I use this? Consider Thomas Edison. After years of work, his laboratory burned to the ground in a devastating fire. Instead of despairing, he reportedly told his son, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." Edison accepted the disaster with grace and saw it as an opportunity to rebuild. Within weeks, his team was back to work, creating new innovations. This is Amor Fati in action, not merely enduring adversity, but embracing it and thriving because of it. How you can start practicing Amor Fati today. Reframe setbacks as opportunities. The next time something doesn't go your way, ask yourself, what lesson is hidden in this experience? Instead of reacting with frustration, see it as training for resilience. Detach from the illusion of control. Remind yourself that life unfolds beyond your control. You can't change the past, but you can shape how you move forward. Let go of resistance. Say yes to everything that happens, rather than wishing things were different. Practice saying, "This is exactly what was meant to happen." Accept the present moment fully. Use challenges to strengthen your character. Just as iron is forged through fire, you are shaped by difficulties. Instead of avoiding hardships, embrace them as part of your personal evolution. If you can learn to love your fate, not just accept it, but truly embrace it, you will free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Life will no longer feel like an endless battle against what should have been. Instead, you will flow with it, knowing that every event, good or bad, plays a role in your growth. Because in the end, it is not what happens to us that matters, but how we choose to respond. Number 6. Master your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself shapes your reality. Every day you engage in an internal conversation, whether you realize it or not. This dialogue dictates your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately, your actions. If left unchecked, it can become your greatest enemy, filling your mind with self-doubt, anxiety, and negativity. But if mastered, it can become your most powerful ally, helping you build resilience, confidence, and peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once wrote, "Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought." For the human spirit is colored by such impressions. What does this mean? It means that whatever dominates your inner dialogue, whether empowering or self-defeating, will shape your perception of the world. If your mind constantly tells you that you are not good enough, that life is unfair, or that the past should have been different, then your reality will be filled with frustration and suffering. But if you shift your inner voice to one of discipline, strength, and clarity, you will gain true freedom. Freedom from destructive thoughts, from emotional turmoil, and from self-imposed limitations. Imagine two individuals facing the same challenge, perhaps a breakup, a career setback, or a personal failure. One tells themselves, "This is a disaster. I'll never recover from this. Life is unfair." The other, following Stoic wisdom, reminds themselves, "This is difficult, but I have endured hardship before. I cannot change the past, but I can control how I respond. What is within my power to improve? What lesson can I take from this?" Both are experiencing the same event, but one is consumed by self-pity, while the other is focused on growth. The only difference? Their inner dialogue. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, emphasized this truth. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The words you tell yourself, moment by moment, shape how you react to life's challenges. If you want to master yourself, you must first master your inner voice. So, how do you start? Here are a few Stoic strategies. Catch negative thoughts immediately. Every time you notice yourself engaging in self-doubt or catastrophic thinking, stop. Ask yourself, is this thought useful? Is this something I can control? If not, let it go. Reframe challenges as opportunities. When facing hardship, remind yourself, this is training. Life is testing me, and I will emerge stronger. Hardships are not obstacles, they are the raw materials for resilience. Adopt a third-person perspective. Instead of being trapped in emotions, step back and observe yourself as if you were giving advice to a close friend. If your friend was struggling, would you speak to them with cruelty and judgment, or with understanding and encouragement? Treat yourself with the same level of wisdom. Use Stoic affirmations daily. Create powerful Stoic-inspired reminders that reinforce strength and clarity. For example, I control my thoughts, not the world around me. I am not disturbed by events, but by my perception of them. Every challenge I face is an opportunity to grow. Silence the inner critic with action. Often, our minds dwell on fear, doubt, and worst-case scenarios. But action destroys doubt. Whenever negative thoughts arise, take a small, meaningful action in the right direction. Don't let your mind control you. Show it that you are in control. Once you learn to govern your thoughts, everything changes. Reduced anxiety. You stop overanalyzing and start living. Emotional resilience. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with wisdom. Greater confidence. You trust yourself, no longer held back by fear or doubt. Clarity and peace. A mind free from unnecessary noise is a mind at peace. True power is not found in controlling others or external circumstances. It is found in controlling your own mind. So, as you go forward, remember this. The voice inside your head will either be your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. Train it wisely. Number 7. Move forward with purpose. The past cannot be changed. The pain, the regrets, the what-ifs, they exist only in your mind. But what you do next, how you shape your future, that is entirely within your control. Moving forward with purpose means making a conscious decision not to dwell in the past, but to take each step with intention and clarity. Seneca once said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." This is the essence of Stoicism, understanding that life is a constant flow of change. If we cling to what was, we remain stuck. But if we accept what is and focus on what we can do now, we reclaim our power. Many people move through life passively. They react to circumstances instead of directing their own path. They let external forces dictate their emotions, their decisions, and ultimately, their future. Imagine someone who goes through a difficult breakup. They spend months, even years, replaying conversations, wondering what they could have done differently. Every thought is focused on the past, on something that cannot be changed. What does this accomplish? Nothing but suffering. Now, contrast this with a Stoic approach. Instead of dwelling on what was lost, a Stoic asks, "What can I learn? How can this experience make me wiser?" Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Every setback can be fuel for growth if you choose to see it that way. So, how do you ensure that you are moving forward with purpose instead? Define what matters most. If you don't know what you are aiming for, you'll be controlled by external circumstances. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Is it personal growth? Is it meaningful relationships? Is it mastering a skill? Let go of the past. Holding on to regret or resentment keeps you chained to something you cannot change. Make peace with what has happened and shift your focus to the future. Take small, meaningful actions. A purposeful life isn't built overnight. It's created through small daily actions that align with your values. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that moves me closer to where I want to be? Detach from external approval. If you let others define your path, you will never be free. A Stoic moves forward not to impress or seek validation, but because it is the right thing to do. Embrace discomfort as growth. Progress often requires stepping into the unknown, facing challenges, and enduring setbacks. Instead of fearing discomfort, embrace it as a necessary step toward becoming stronger. Consider a man who loses his job unexpectedly. He has two choices. He can spiral into self-pity, blaming his employer, the economy, or bad luck. Or he can recognize this moment as a turning point, an opportunity to pursue something greater, to build new skills, or even to start his own venture. The event itself is neutral. It is his perspective and actions that define the outcome. Marcus Aurelius understood this well when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What blocks your path does not stop you. It becomes the path. When you commit to living intentionally, everything changes. You stop feeling like a victim. Instead of focusing on what's unfair, you focus on what you can create. You make decisions with confidence. Every action has meaning because it aligns with your core values. You experience inner peace. Regret and uncertainty fade because you are actively shaping your future. You become resilient. Challenges no longer shake you because you trust yourself to handle them. Right now, take out a piece of paper and write down 3 things that truly matter to you. Then, for each one, Write a single action you can take today to move in that direction. Purpose is not found. It is created through the choices you make, through the things you let go of, and through the way you respond to life's challenges. Move forward, not with hesitation, but with purpose. Because the future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. Life is full of change, loss, and uncertainty, but through the wisdom of Stoicism, we can learn to navigate these challenges with strength and clarity. Throughout this video, we've explored 7 powerful Stoic principles that can help you detach from emotional pain, regain control over your mind, and move forward with peace. At the heart of it all is a simple but profound truth. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. This is the essence of Stoicism, the understanding that true freedom comes not from changing the external world, but from mastering our inner world. Focus only on what you can control. Let go of the illusion of control over others and external circumstances. Detach from emotional reactions. Recognize that emotions are temporary and do not define you. Reframe pain as a teacher. See difficulties as opportunities for wisdom and resilience. Set boundaries without guilt. Protect your peace by knowing when to say no. Practice Amor, Fati. Love your fate. Embrace life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Master your inner dialogue. Shape your thoughts to create a stronger, calmer mind. Move forward with purpose. Let go of regret and step into the future with intention. Each of these lessons is a tool, but like any tool, they are only useful if you put them to work. Now that you understand these principles, the next step is action. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? When emotions cloud your judgment, remind yourself that you are not your feelings, you are the one who observes them. When life presents an obstacle, see it as a test of your Stoic mindset, a chance to practice resilience. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The more you practice Stoicism, the more you will experience less stress and anxiety because you stop fighting battles you can't win. Greater emotional stability because you learn to detach from negative reactions. A deep sense of peace because you accept life as it is without resistance. Stronger relationships because you let go of expectations and control over others. Letting go is not about indifference, it's about freedom. The freedom to move forward without carrying the weight of the past. The freedom to embrace life on your own terms. The freedom to live with clarity and purpose. Stoicism is not just something to learn, it's something to live. So before you move on, ask yourself, what is one thing I can let go of today? It might be a past regret, an unrealistic expectation, a fear that no longer serves you. Write it down. Make a conscious decision to release it and take your first step toward a freer, more resilient life. If you found this video helpful, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share so that more people can benefit from Stoic wisdom. And if you have a personal experience with letting go, share it in the comments below. Let's continue this journey together. This is Stoic Teachings Today, helping you master the art of letting go. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and keep practicing Stoicism.